Hello and welcome. This is OGTV Main News. I am Bukola Agbakisu and we say happy celebration to the Gateway State, Ogun State. On the news, Ogun attains 4.5 decades mark as Governor Abiodun sues for unity in diversity. FEC approves establishment of 20 private universities. Oil firms' income tax payments dropped to 47.74 billion naira in 2020. Police in Myanmar filed charges against a set civilian leader. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace.
Hundreds of Australian Open players, officials and staff to isolate after a single positive COVID test. This and more sporting stories much later on the news. My name is Moses Ojewumi. Stay with us.
Thanks so much for joining us once again. Now the news in full. We're starting with Ogun State at 45. Driving the Ishaya pillars vehemently and passionately will take Ogun State beyond the dreams and aspirations of its founding fathers. This formed the cross of the inputs from panelists at the virtual colloquium marking Ogun at 45. Governor's Office correspondent Tunde Olaniro reports that the Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, promised to always be inclusive and accountable to the people, urging the people of the state to continue to cohabit peacefully. This report.
After a very cerebral dissection of the topic, discussants also contributed their quotas.
Building a legacy of a great future is all about laying solid foundation in education to make sure that we have very, very good people who are innovative, who are creative, who have independent thoughts.
Moving around Ogun State today is a far cry. It was in 1976. The difference is more vivid. To those of us who saw it in 1976 and have seen it all since then as insiders.
And the process of developing or turning our individual ability into something of value that will be meaningful to the state and to our great country, Nigeria at large, is what is called development. And that comes with education, either formal or informal.
In terms of education as well, I always stress to people that the point of school is not to learn something in particular, is to learn how to learn. Because the world changes today, the technology changes every day. So when you go to school, I always advise people to learn how to learn. So if the programming language you are working with changes, you know how to teach yourself something new.
There were questions from across the globe with over 600 participants and answers were given.
During our budget session as well, it is important to note that we specifically check the SDGs budget in each MDA. This is to the extent to which we are fully aligned with all of these goals. The entire 17 goals are those that we take very, very seriously. And also when you think about our development pillars, Ishaya, a lot of the 17 development goals are actually closely aligned also with our development pillars.
The Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, admonished residents to continue to live together in peace, as this is crucial to development.
We continue to be very aggressive about food security, employment generation, security of lives and property, and particularly creating that enabling environment for a public-private sector partnership, which we are convinced that this is very fundamental to economic growth. And when there's economic growth and development, there will be individual prosperity.
The virtual colloquium is the first of the series of events marking the 45th anniversary of Ogun State. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
Still on Ogun at 45, the future of Ogun State is bright and the current administration will ensure that the state achieves its full potentials. The Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, stated this while addressing a virtual colloquium organized in commemoration of the creation of the state 45 years ago. Governor's Office correspondent Tunde Olaniro once again has details in those reports.
45 years of creation is worthy of celebration with pomp and pageantry, but for the COVID-19 pandemic currently ravaging the world, despite this reality, the virtual colloquium organized by the current administration in Ogun State, tagged Ogun State, the legacy of a great future, was well attended by indigents of the state, both home and abroad. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dr. Abiodun, assured of his administration's commitment to actualizing the dreams of its founding fathers.
While this theme recognizes a proud past, it also implies an obligation for us to work towards a greater future. This is in tandem with the Building Our Future Together agenda of our institution, which has 5 interrelated pillars that we believe are very critical to building a great future that all of us will be very proud of. Our commitment to the continued development of our infrastructure, social welfare and well-being, education, youth and development, and agriculture as core pillars, and energy, ICT, security, good governance, public-private sector partnership as enablers are part of our administration's commitment to further bring to fulfillment the vision of our founding fathers for a better Ogun State. A state in which the present generation live a more prosperous life and the oncoming generations will find fulfillment for their dreams.
Professor Tunji Olaopa, the guest lecturer at the virtual colloquium, called for economic collaboration with neighboring states and intergenerational forum for mentoring of young minds going forward.
When it came into existence in 1976, Ogun State immediately inherited a unique unique development and business geography, like has been said, that positioned it as a central hub around which development in Nigeria could be measured. Ogun's proximity to Lagos State has turned it into a growing and significant industrial hub, benefiting from its strategic location near Lagos. Indeed, Ogun has been dubbed the New Jersey of Nigeria because it has now become the preferred location of investment in Nigeria.
He applauded the developmental strategy of the state occasioned by its human and natural resources, demographic advantage, and ingenious leadership.
Political and bureaucratic corruption are both fundamental variables that undermine good governance. The trajectory of governance achievement, which His Excellency has proven, can be undermined by huge leakages, sabotages, and all. And this needs to be severely contained.
Professor Olaopa said the future of Ogun State is bright. With the right leadership being given by Governor Dapo Abiodun, it will surely get there. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
On Governor's broadcast to mark the day, the current administration in Ogun State will not content itself as proud inheritors of worthy legacies, as the inheritance also imposes a responsibility to create a better future that coming generations will be proud to inherit. The Governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, made this known in his statewide broadcast in commemoration of the 45th year of the creation of the Gateway State. Governor's Office correspondent Tunde Olaniro reports.
3rd of February 1976, Ogun State was formed out of the then Western States by late General Murtala Mohammed. 45 years after, the incumbent governor of the state, Prince Dr. Abiodun, in a statewide broadcast, gave kudos to the founding fathers of the state for their vision and sacrifice.
I salute the patriotic zeal of all those public servants who transferred their services from the old Western State to the then nascent Ogun State. But for their sacrifices, good faith, and great passion, the state that we are so proud of might have just been a mere geographical expression. With a humble beginning in 1976, our dear state has grown to become one of the most viable states in Nigeria. We have grown our internal generated revenue to become the first among states created at the same time with us. We are the fastest growing investment and commercial destination not only in Nigeria, but the entire West African sub-region, attracting one of the highest foreign direct investments and local investments. We are the leading state in the production of limestone, granite, glass, and so on. This is corroborated by the records of the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics in the 2019 report, which states that capital importation into Nigeria amounted to $5.3 billion, and Ogun State ranked third, only behind Lagos and Abuja in the destination of these investments.
The governor also appreciated all his predecessors, the military governors and administrators, as well as the democratically elected governors, their deputies and commissioners who have had the good fortune of steering the ship of the Gateway State.
With only one university in 1982, the then Ogun State University, now Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agowe, having just over 500 students, we have grown to become the education capital of Nigeria with 26 tertiary institutions. OU alone has over 50,000 students offering graduate and postgraduate courses in different fields of human endeavors.
Ogun State continues to tower over and above our contemporaries, according to the governor, because it stands on the shoulders of the founding fathers.
With the commitment and doggedness of our people, we have become the biggest producer of cassava in Nigeria, the biggest producer of poultry in Nigeria, biggest producer of rice in the Southwest, and one of the biggest producers of other food and cash crops. This is not to forget that we are also the spiritual headquarters of Nigeria, with almost all denominations and societies of religion having their headquarters in our dear state. Who says prayers are not answered in Ogun State? These are not just fiction. My dear people, one cannot have this kind of inheritance and lay it to waste. As an administration, we will not content ourselves as proud inheritors of these worthy legacies. The inheritance also imposes a responsibility to create a better future that coming generations will be proud to inherit. We will continue to push the frontiers.
45 years is no mean achievement in the historical development of any state. According to the governor, the drums should be rolled out in celebration, but because of the need to adhere strictly to the prevention protocols against COVID-19 pandemic, the celebration will be low-key. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
And still on the governor's broadcast, as Ogun State celebrates the 45th anniversary of its creation, the governor of the state, Prince Dapo Abiodun, has appealed to all Nigerians to eschew all forms of violence and learn to live together in harmony. The governor gave this charge in his 45th anniversary broadcast to the state. The governor restated the commitment of his administration to deploy resources towards ensuring conducive environment for all its people to discover and nurture their potentials, irrespective of their age, gender, status, and location. Governor's Office correspondent Tunde Olaniro reports.
At the microeconomic level, many more of our people are living healthier and more prosperous lives. They are more economically empowered and have continued to contribute to the development of our dear state. At the macroeconomic level, our dear state provides a more conducive atmosphere where existing investments continue to thrive and new investments are attracted. As a result, more jobs are created, poverty continues to dwindle, and by the grace of God, we have never had and we will never have a food crisis because of our investment in food security. In all, the people are happier. You agree with me that that is in tandem with the supreme goal of the founding fathers of Ogun State. I call on our youth that this process of building our future together requires that they rise up to the challenge of their own time and be counted to do so in a positive way.
In his broadcast, the governor urged Nigerians to appreciate the fact that there can be no development in an atmosphere of insecurity.
Yes, I agree. There will be reasons for us to disagree on certain issues of our essentials, but we only disagree to agree and move forward. We must not encourage those stoking the embers of violence for the distribution of our great nation. A country where tribes and tongues may differ, but stands in brotherhood is where unity in our diversity thrives. We all have duties and responsibilities and obligations to aid better understanding of our local and national realities. All we need to do is manage our differences effectively and efficiently, and Nigeria will be greater.
He further pledged the commitment of his administration to take Ogun State to an enviable height in all ramifications.
My dear people of Ogun State, let me restate the commitment of our administration to continue to deploy resources towards ensuring conducive environment for all our people to discover and nurture their potentials, irrespective of age, gender, status, and location. However, I'm aware that I cannot do it all alone, not only with my team, which I'm proud of, but with every citizen and resident of Ogun State. On this day of the 45th anniversary of our dear state, therefore I enjoin all of us to look back as proud inheritors of worthy legacies. Should even be more proud that we have continued to build together a viable future that is brighter than where we are coming from.
Prince Dr. Abiodun reminded the people of the state to be responsible in celebration, stressing that COVID-19 pandemic is not over yet. Tunde Olaniro, OGTV News.
Still coming up in the news, FCT COVID-19 Task Force stops promotion examination by Nigeria's Social Insurance Trust Fund. Join us in part 2 for details.
Inside this journey called life.
No one sees what this journey took from him.
But I'll keep on keeping on. Cause to them say nothing good they come in.
How far he pushed his mind and his body. How many times he broke down and needed support. But success lies on the other end of pain. See as everybody they hail am now, cheering every verse and chorus. As Naija mama where I be, my son no fit carry last. So when pain comes knocking, we look back at it without fear and say, not today.
For 8
Watching OGTV Main News. The news continues now. Eminent indigenes of Ogun State have given an account of the state's stewardship in the past 45 years. The Chief of Staff to the State Governor, Alhaji Afolabi Salisu, stated that the pioneers' blueprints have helped in transforming the state, especially in the area of education and strong civil service. Shemin Lori Makonju has more.
As Ogun State marks 45th anniversary, the occasion has afforded some eminent personalities a critical retrospect on one of OGTV programs, New Dawn. The Chief of Staff to Ogun Governor, Alhaji Shuaib Afolabi Salisu, stated that the state is proud inheritor of sound education and other legacies that have put the state on a global map, not only in education but other areas like law, accounting, business, music and theater.
And when you talk about political leadership, how do you take out the largest concentration of people who have provided leadership to this country? This is the only state that has produced Chief Awolowo that remains a reference point in public service and public leadership, not just in Nigeria but even beyond. You talk about a state who has produced General Obasanjo, both as a head of state and civilian head of state. This is the home state of Chief MKO Abiola. This is the home state of the interim president, Chief Shonekon. No other state could boast of producing all forms of head of state for this country.
One of the pioneer civil servants, Mr. Oshitelu Oyenuga Oyeyemi, also disclosed that the state's excellence cuts across all sectors.
It was a call that, look, this thing must work. If we did it in Ibadan and we were commended as a state, those who did it then, this is our own state, we must do it and make it to shine. And that's really what happened.
Former head of service, Surveyor Godwin Ogun, and pioneer chieftaincies Otumba Samuel Ibikunle recounted the strides of the founding fathers in setting precedents for others to follow.
So we were actually looking forward seriously at that time for what we are going to do in Ogun State, turning Ogun State around in as much as possible. Because surveying, as we know, is more or less the bedrock of all development. Planning for housing, planning for all industrial development, commercial development, housing development, and various other things, that we actually have in Ogun State. So it's so exciting to us,
Fortunately for us, we had a highly distinguished Nigerian as our boss. That was Dr. Adedoyin. He was an obstetrician and gynecologist, and we worked so closely together to develop not only the state hospital Ijaye, but also a new state hospital in Idiaba that we later transferred to the Federal Ministry of Health.
Taking a look at the contributions of pioneers and leaders to the development of the state, they identified the zeal and hard work as main reasons for the state's preeminence in most sectors. Shemilore Makoju, OGTV News.
Still on the celebration of Ogun at 45. As Ogun State celebrates 45 years of creation, the journey has been an eventful one with many monumental achievements to showcase. In this special report, Matthew Shoumi extracts the giant strides of the state in the last 4.5 decades.
Ogun State was carved out of the old western states on February 3, 1976 by the regime of late head of state General Murtala Muhammad, with Abeokuta as its capital.
On its creation in 1976, 10 of us who were permanent secretaries were selected to come to the new state, and we were headed by our boss, late Pa A.A.K. Degun.
I was in the government house. I worked with this military governor, Colonel Jembewon, at that period. But by the time they created Ogun State, they have to transfer me to the governor. There's no office, nothing, no house to stay. We have to sleep inside our car because I joined the service.
At inception was received with great excitement by everybody. We were all comfortable in Ibadan, but the fact that we had a state of ours was a great excitement for us. We were very few as administrative officers from Ogun State, but as few as we were, we decided to be coming. We would park our cars at the Secretariat at Ibadan.
Located in southwestern Nigeria, Ogun State covers 16,762 square kilometers and borders Lagos State to the south, Oyo and Osun State to the north, Ondo State to the east, and the Republic of Benin to the west. It is made up of 6 ethnic groups, namely the Egba, the Ijebu, the Remo, the Egbado, the Awori, and the Ogun. Ogun State, with 20 local government areas, has important cities and towns such as Abeokuta, Ijebu-Ode, Shagamu, Ikene-Remo, Ilaro, Ijebu-Igbo, and Ayetoro, to mention a few. The state has at one time or the other been ruled by both military and civilian governors who have made their marks in the socio-economic growth recorded over the course of 45 years, and the current governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, took power on May 29, 2019.
What we are trying to do as the
legislative arm of governments is to make sure that Ogun State is up there in the Committee of States in Nigeria as one of the progressive states. And towards that, we have made a lot of legislation. For instance, for a state to develop, you need security. We have passed into law the State Security Trust Fund law, which will enable the government to finance issue of security in the state by providing security agents with necessary apparatus.
Well, I want to advise civil servants in Ogun State that we should keep the flag rolling, because Ogun State civil servants are known to be the best. We are gateway to all good things. We are pace setters to other civil servants in the Federation.
The state is blessed with abundant human and natural resources as the cradle of education in Nigeria.
Away from Ogun State at 45 to other stories. In continuation of the determination to ensure success of Agricultural Development Intervention Program, the pre-season training and sensitization of the 1,100 Batch C beneficiaries of Anchor Borrowers Program on cassava has been flagged off. Performing the flag off exercise, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun, represented by the Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adiola Odedino, encouraged the participants to take full advantage of the additional training opportunities fully funded by the state government and outside the loan structure of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Matthew Shomi has the details.
After applying for the Ogun Borrowers Program through Ogun State Job Portal, these 1,100 applicants have been carefully chosen for the Batch C of the program, and this training and sensitization program are part of the extra efforts of the current administration in the state, in addition to 25,500 hectares of land provided to ensure the success of the program. Commissioner for Agriculture, Dr. Adiola Odedino, said at the commencement of the rainy season, the beneficiaries will further be linked with inputs of improved cuttings, fertilizer, and further training as agreed by Farmers Organization and CBA.
Can have good yield and repair their loan, so that other youth can be imparted upon in also taking up agricultural opportunity at the cost of Ogun State government.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Dotun Shohunke, urged participants to make good use of the opportunity to improve their livelihood. Program Manager, Ogun State Agricultural Development Program, Mrs. Taiwo Ayosonwo, stated that the training will serve as a huge success booster for the program and praised the state government for standing by the youths and smallholder farmers. Representative of Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Adekunle Badejo, revealed that the bank is interested in making things work for the nation, and agriculture is the only way forward.
If we don't take extra care or find alternatives to boosting the level of agriculture, we'll be having problems with food security in the very near future.
Participants praised the transparency of the program as they appreciated the governor for standing by them.
As they followed all the right protocols, because we all came as no one, we all fill in without knowing anybody.
The participants are to be allocated land in Nakpojola, Odeda local government area. Matthew Shomi, OGTV News.
Nigerian youths have been called upon to take advantage of the registration and revalidation exercise of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC to effect the change that they so much desire. The chairman of the APC Registration and Revalidation Committee in Ogun State, Honorable Ademori Kuye, gave this advice while speaking with our Governor's Office correspondent Tunde Olaniro after a training with the local government agents for the party registration exercise.
And like the advice that I gave to our young men, our patriotic young men that protested during the EndSARS, we are saying that it's not all issues that are fought on the streets. Some are better discussed on a negotiating table, and political party offers that negotiating table for them to come and participate. So I'm calling on all the young men that were part of the struggle to have a change in the country to come into the party now and try to effect that change constitutionally.
That not having the permanent voters card issued by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) is not a hindrance to becoming a member of APC in this registration exercise.
Is open to all. This is one party we want to build into a mega party, having a status like ANC in South Africa. For now, it is still the biggest party in Nigeria. We want it to be bigger than it is presently, and that's why we are opening doors for the young men and the young women who have come of age now from 1990, who are lesser than 18 years in 1990, but since then have since qualified to vote to come into the party.
On his part, the Senior Special Advisor to the Governor of Ogun State on Political Affairs, Right Honorable Tunji Egbetokun, said the party in Ogun State is ready for the registration exercise.
Time ago, there was a time that it was postponed. I will tell you that even if it had happened then, we were ready. And now we are very, very ready. It is good for us to have a very large number of membership of our party. Why would we marginalize anybody? Because it is this that will translate to the totality of the victory that we have in 2023.
He urged everyone in the state to avail themselves of the opportunity of being a member of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Meanwhile, the 7 lawmakers of the Ogun State House of Assembly who recently denounced their APM membership at the floor of the House to join All Progressives Congress, APC, have been welcomed to the party with a call on them to visit their wards and seize the opportunity of the membership registration to revalidate their party membership. Chairman, Caretaker Committee, Chief Yemi Shanusi, made the call while handing over the party symbol and constitution to the lawmakers at the State Party Secretariat at Abeokuta in the presence of other lawmakers led by the Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo. Correspondent Kolawole Osho covered the event. Details of his report are presented in this package.
It was a homecoming for the Ogun State lawmakers who recently denounced their Allied People's Movement APM membership to join the All Progressives Congress APC at the floor of the House of Assembly as they were led by the Speaker, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, to the State Party Secretariat for official introduction and handing over to the Chairman, Caretaker Committee of APC, Chief Yemi Shanusi. Welcoming them to the party, Chief Shanusi expressed his joy for their prompt decision while urging them to support the programs of the state governor. He also admonished them to visit their various wards to renew their membership and play the game according to the rule.
Go back to your ward, polling booth and register, and make sure you integrate with all leaders and members of the party in your ward. I know you are all supportive to this government and implore you to continue to do so. With the authority given to me by the national headquarters of the party, I pronounce all of you full member of APC.
I want to assure you, sir, that even though when we were in the other party, we continue to ensure that we give maximum support in the House and to our executive governor. We will double that now that we are in APC.
The chairman thereafter handed over the party symbol and constitution to the lawmakers. Speaker, Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakunle Oluomo, declared that even before the defection of the lawmakers, they have been very supportive to him and the programs of the state government.
The party is both the mother and the father of the government, and that is why we are here this afternoon. It's my pleasure, sir, to introduce to you the new member
of APC in the State House of Assembly. I have 7 of them, but I'm here with 5. The remaining 2, for some reasons, they cannot be there. In fact, one can still join us as we are here. But that is not to say they are not with us. They are with us wholeheartedly. They have been very, very competitive on the floor of the House even before coming.
APC Secretary in the state, Honorable Ayo Olubori, and the Publicity Secretary, Comrade Tune Oladojoye, commended the Speaker for exhibiting good leadership character while enjoining the lawmakers to be at peace at all times. With this, members of the All Progressives Congress at the State House of Assembly have now increased from 15 to 22.
The League of Muslim School Proprietors Worldwide, Ogun State Chapter, has given kudos to the remarkable initiatives and policies of government for the development of education in the state, among which was the introduction of optical marks recognition (OMR) sheets during the last basic education certificate examination and the COVID-19 guidelines put in place. The League reiterated that education as an important instrument needed for transformation to an enviable height cannot be treated with frivolous acts. Hence, achievable partnership with relevant stakeholders is crucial to the success of the sector. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abayomi Arigbabu, while receiving the executive of the association in his office, pledged that government would continue to make policies that would ensure smooth running of the schools. Arigbabu revealed that government will be fair and just regardless of religion. Therefore, all their concerns and agitations will be addressed as soon as possible.
We give you the necessary recognition because you are also a major stakeholder in the education industry. So people in single proprietor is a major stakeholder, not to talk of a group of proprietors. When a group of people having the same objective, the same vision, the same beliefs come together and form themselves into an association or a group, the law allows them to actually exist. And as a stakeholder in the education industry, we recognize you. I will continue to also support you.
In his submission, the chairman of the league, Alhaji Maruf Olalekon Okpeniyi, pledged their unflinching commitment to the government while pleading more support to their association. The Federal Executive Council has approved a memo from the Ministry of Education for the establishment of 20 new private universities across the country. The 20 new private universities are to be given provisional licenses to run for 3 years while the ministry monitors and evaluates the growth. This brings the total number of private universities in the country to 99. Also, during the meeting, members observed a minute silence for 2 late cabinet members who died recently. A minute silence was observed just before the commencement of the weekly meeting, which was presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari at the Council's chamber of the State House. The former members are Alpha Wale and Tony Mama. Wale, a prominent Kano State indigene and former Minister of Agriculture, died on Monday, January 25, 2021. He also served as permanent secretary in many ministries, including the Ministry of Defense. The Federal Executive Council on Wednesday approved a contract worth about 1.3 billion naira for the design, supply and installation of PTZ long-range tarmac camera surveillance system at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, and the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, disclosed this at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, after a meeting of the Council presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari. This is in order to upgrade and provide security for the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, especially to avoid incidents on the air site and runway, he said. Mohammed added that the Council approved a contract worth over 700 million naira, inclusive of 7.5% VAT, for the procurement of 2 hydrographic survey boats for the National Inland Waterways Authority. The minister, who briefed journalists on behalf of the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, said the contract was awarded in favor of First Index Projects and Services Limited with a completion period of 6 months. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, on his part, said the council approved 35 billion naira for the building of a power station by the Nigerian Export Processing Zone Authority in Akampa, Cross River State. On the business segment of the news, oil price rises above $57. Stay tuned for more after the break. The accompanying income tax paid by oil and gas companies to the federal government fell by 4.94 billion naira or 10.25% in 2020. Official figures